What's up, guys? It is the Saucy Sound Alchemist here with the sultry yet sexy
Gersh1,
and we are back at it answering your questions on another installment of For the Greater
Wow!
Thank you guys so much for the questions that you guys left in last video. What we do is we answer the questions that you guys are going to leave in this video next Monday for you guys. And I hope you guys like my shirt. And you're wearing a jacket.
I am terribly cold because I have a cold. So
yes, but this shirt was actually given to me. You have one too, but you're not wearing it now. It was given to an awesome. It was given to us by an awesome subscriber. Link to his clothing line down in the description, and he's gonna get his own exclusive video pretty soon. But I was wearing this shirt, so I want to explain the gist of the shirt. Anyways. This week's question is, do Space Marines ever retire? And the question was sent by Costis Metalo. He put question in front of his question, which is what you should do if you want your question to be answered. So to answer that, do Space Marines ever retire? Kinda.
No, because they're still. I mean, they retire-ish, but it's still for the Emperor, so it's like they're always working.
Yeah. So in other words, most Space Marine chapters, no, they don't retire. Even if you get hurt to a point where you can't really be in combat, they put you in a Dreadnought. Check out our 40 facts on the Dreadnought to get more information on that. We got a 2-parter, right?
I believe it's like 3-parter.
Damn.
And I think there's a 4th part coming soon.
Damn. But yeah, basically, for most Space Marines, no, they don't do that thing. But they don't retire like that. But there are some Space Marine chapters where I guess you could say they retire because they stop going into campaigns and they just stay stationed in like a certain world or a certain port, and they just oversee what they're called, Space Marine worlds, I think? No. Chapter worlds.
There you go.
Yeah. So they oversee chapter worlds, but that's about it. They don't ever go to pleasure planets like the Imperial officers.
For the Astra Militarum.
Yeah. They do go to some Asian massage parlors and pay a little extra, if you know what I mean.
That's right, guys.
Even though we've said before that they don't have penises.
Also, one thing to note is like, you know how you retire once you get old? There is no age limit for retirement or anything. Because look at Dante. This dude's the oldest living non-Dreadnought Space Marine, and he's still duking it out. The guy's a freaking chapter master.
Yep.
So that's one instance that there is no retirement for Space Marines.
Yep. But thanks for the question, and we're going to continue going on with more questions, starting with John Doe. Would you guys ever consider doing Age of Sigmar videos? Yeah, it's something that we have thought about. We're probably going to do the Warhammer Fantasy, like the old school stuff, before we do Age of Sigmar. Mm-hmm. Not because Age of Sigmar, or because we don't like Age of Sigmar, but because I think there's more lore for Warhammer Fantasy.
Because isn't Age of Sigmar technically like over? Like they had their end of times or whatever?
No, Fantasy is over.
Oh, Fantasy, there you go.
Age of Sigmar is starting, but I don't think the Age of Sigmar... Like, I guess we could start doing the lore of, like, the, because they have new factions, right? They have the
Eternal Stormcast or whatever.
Yeah. We could do that. But yeah, that's something that has crossed our mind. Before we do that, though, I was actually tossing around the idea of creating a Let's Play, One Mind Syndicate channel where we play Warhammer 40k games like Dawn of War, Deathwing, what have you.
Fire Warrior.
Yeah, maybe if you want to get a headache. Comment down below if you think that's a good idea. Alright, next question.
Fruit Loops. He asks, could the Emperor break a Nokia brick phone? No, that thing's unbreakable.
He could get it to stop working because of his psychic powers, but he wouldn't be able to break it.
The phone would probably fire back with like a dial tone, and the Emperor would just be like, ugh.
Yeah. Not to mention he's on the Golden Throne, which is actually made up of a bunch of Nokias, just like stacked on top of each other.
Yeah.
So start stacking now, and we might build the Golden Throne. Question by Arthur Dotson. Outsider 258. What would the galaxy look like and the various races in it if the Necrons win the 41st millennium? So if the Necrons win,
it's gonna be pretty empty.
yeah. The only things that are going to be around is the things that the Necrons deem as worthy of being their slaves, but they're not real. They're not people, so like they need very little to live.
Right.
The Eye of Terror would be gone.
Yeah, because if you get rid of humanity, you're getting rid of basically chaos, because they feed off of human emotion.
Yep. If you get rid of, and then they want to get rid of all biological. No, well they want to get rid of all sentient beings. So I think the Tyranids would kind of
they'd bite it.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks for the question.
Yep. Next one is Maverick Andre. If Space Marines aren't allowed to have wives, then how do Salamander Astartes families work? I read and heard that they have families.
I need to read that. We haven't finished our Salamander lore, and it's not something that I guess that I know off the top of my head.
Yeah, the only thing about that I kind of know of is that a lot of salamanders are like I don't know what's it called, ironsmiths, forge smiths. They work at making like armor and stuff like that. So I don't know. We gotta do our research, guys.
Yeah, stay tuned, and we'll probably answer that in one of the Salamander videos. Adara Yukimakasuga, I don't know. He asks, I thought that every criminal becomes a servitor, so why is there a need for prison planets? No, and not all criminals become servitors. There's a variety of things that happen to criminals.
They could become part of a penal legion, which is basically you're forced to fight wars as like a soldier prisoner. They could just kill you.
You could even become a Space Marine.
Yep.
The Night Lords.
Night Lords. All the murderers and criminals became part of the Night Lords Legion.
So there's a variety of things that can happen to you if you are that. A prisoner.
This one's by Dragon Punch. Is the Imperium right in being xenophobic, or should they ally and beat chaos once and for all?
Wait, say that again? So should what?
Should the Imperium be xenophobic, or should they ally with them? I'd say, for the sake of storytelling, they should be xenophobic, because it's going to make things difficult, and they're going to have to basically overcome their difficulties. If they do ally, I feel like it should just be like a short-term thing, because all in all, humanity is very
totalitarian.
There you go.
Yeah, because the moment you start working with another Xenos race, you have to build a council. If you have a council, you have the opportunity for the other race to gain leverage over humanity and control it becomes pretty big, especially if you're talking about a race like the Eldar, who are far
superior technology-wise.
Yeah.
And I guess psychically too.
Yeah. So should they be xenophobic? I think so. Next question comes from Mr. Theorist Fist. Is the Emperor sitting in the golden throne, or is he like in Star Wars where he is suspended in a tube? He is sitting.
Sitting down, like legit. Robin Yadao. I think that's how you pronounce it. What's your absolute favorite weapon in all of Warhammer 40k?
That's a tough one, but I think it's the Power Fist.
I don't know. It's a toss-up between Lightning Claws and what's that thing called? It's like the plasma cannon. There you go. But I'd say Lightning Claws.
Cool. Next question comes from Oscar Seben. Is it particularly wise to start my first army with a Tau? And what direction should I take it in terms of what to collect first? What you think? What you really think? Because you could. Is it a good idea to start Tau? If you like Tau, hell yeah.
Yeah, I'd say no matter what army you start, make sure it's one that you like. Don't do it because I heard this one's good, or I heard you'll win a lot. play something you like, play something you can get into the lore. Because if you like your army, you won't suffer as much when you gotta build and paint and model and base and all that. Because that's a very time-consuming part of the hobby. And if you don't like doing that, then you're gonna slowly start to not like your army.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you. I think like 40% of the hobby is actually playing the game. The other percentage is building, sitting in the bathroom, reading your codex, stuff like that.
But a good choice in Tau. There's a lot of varieties that you can play. So.
But what direction do you think he should go towards? He likes suits, so he's just gonna recommend getting like, what is it, the 3-man suit kit or whatever?
Yeah, go with the command squad, I think is what it's called, or Tau crisis suits, whatever. It's 3 crisis suits. I think it's like $60, but.
Next question comes from Tavasquasfasi. I don't know. How can we trick the orcs to assemble the biggest warg and send them all to the Eye of Terror? I bet they'd be pretty happy because that's what they want, right? So I think, so what's happening right now, Godskool Magor Thraka is, he has to come up with 5, he has to get 5, like, big was going. So he has Armageddon, and he has the thing with the Tyranids. So he needs 3 more, and one of those 3, I strongly believe that it will be sending a massive wall into the Eye of Terror, because I mean, there's a story that I would really love, and that's of like it's a wall that goes into the Eye of Terror, and it gets cut off, but the orcs that are in the warp get stuck on a planet, and they're just constantly fighting every single day on that planet. It's a Khorne held planet, so they are resurrected in the morning, fight the entire time until they're all gone, and then they're resurrected again. I'm guessing they still release spores in the warp, and they're like mutated orc.
Like warp-infused orcs.
Yeah, like Khorne orcs, like the red ones.
So you could say they are warks.
Warks, there you go.
That works.
But yeah, and because of that, I don't think the Imperium would want to send. The Imperium does not want to send anything into that hole. They wanna get rid of the hole, but they don't want to send something because they're scared that it might come back out. Which, happens whenever you deal with holes. You're scared what comes out.
Yeah, usually you want to fill them.
Not have them explode in your face.
Right.
Anyways.
This one's by Andy Chap. Do Imperial Navy ships have escape pods just in case of emergency? Seems logical, but I know the Imperium does not care so much for actual savants.
No.
No, of course not. They all go down with the ship.
No, but yeah, they do.
No, yeah. Come on.
Yeah. Next question comes from Mr. Theorist Fist again. If you could start a whole new army, what army would you guys pick up? What about you?
A completely brand new army would probably be the Eldar.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
I like their sleek and slenderness, and I like the Wraith, like the Wraith Guard, Wraith Lords, Wraith Knights. So.
I would start an Imperial Knights army, so just 3 or 4 Imperial Knights.
That's it.
Yeah, because that's what I think I would really enjoy painting the most. I've seen some really dope artists who like paint up entire murals on the like shoulder pads and whatnot. Yeah, that's really cool. Next question.
Vajra Asura. Are there any non-marine chaos worshippers that have become demon princes? Or are they just screwed out of running without having performance-enhancing augmentations?
To answer the question, yes. Because even before Space Marines were created, there were demon princes. And those demon princes came from races like the Old Ones or what have you. I can't name any off the top of my head, but...
Be'lakor, he's one of the oldest demon princes, and obviously Chaos wasn't around back... Or not Chaos. Chaos Space Marines weren't around back then.
Yeah.
This was like pre-heresy stuff.
Yep, so there is. Sylvian Moore. Will you guys ever create a 40k video game channel?
Hey.
Yeah, we will. At some point. Next question.
Dragon. Yeah, Dragon Warhammer. Yeah, I'm gonna die. What if the Imperium of Man and the Eldar are completely united?
Imperium of Man and the Eldar. I think at some point it's gonna happen, but like with all great unities of two really strong powers,
There's gonna be a falling out.
yeah, a big time falling out.
Yeah. Maybe that's what's gonna help the Webway project become finished. I don't know.
Yeah. I think for sure GW is going towards that direction of the Eldar and the Imperium working together because of the whole Harlequins, the Black Library, and all that kind of stuff. If you guys don't know about all that stuff, just check out the 40 Facts and it explains a lot. But basically, the Harlequins want to get the final act to happen, and in order for the final act to happen, they're probably going to need the Imperium's help to push back chaos or to do something around chaos related. And the whole final act is theorized as when what's his name, the laughing god,
Kegara.
when Kegara defeats Slash or traps or what have you. This question comes from Bible Man. What happens when orcs get gigantic? I mean, judging by the physiological build, they should be crushed by the gravity at some point, being bipedal and shit. You have to remember that each individual planet is completely different. Just like in our universe or our galaxy, you go to Mars, gravity is different in Mars, and it's way different than in Jupiter. So what happens to giant orcs? They stay giant. Because if they believe they're safe in their own little orc fungus multicellular organism thing, they're good.
Yeah. Also, orcs are very muscular, so even if they did go to a different, heavier atmosphere, gravity stuff, they'd be fine.
Yep.
Labor Days. What do you guys think about the theory that the orcs have actually won and bent the galaxy to their will? That this is an unending, ever-present state of conflict on a galactic scale?
That's cool, but I doubt it, and I'll tell you why.
Why, Gershwin? Why?
Gadsgul's vision that Gork and Mork has sent him. There's still going to be a time they call, I think, Valhalla, when like all orc, or yeah, every single orc race, every single orc in the galaxy is fighting, and it's just one huge galactic battle. It's gonna be called Valhalla or The Party, something like that. The Big Party.
I like that one.
The Big Banga.
Oh,
Dang.
it's a club banger.
Yeah. So because of that, I don't think that the orcs have already won, because otherwise they wouldn't be trying to throw a big party like that. You know what I'm saying?
I feel ya.
Thank you. Thanks for the response. These guys aren't really talking today. Get it? Alright.
Austin Palmer. Dang, it's a very orky theme today.
That's cool.
If a grot kills stuff, do they get bigger? Are there any mega grots?
Yep, so there's like Grots, Gretchen, and like Gretchen's probably top off at like, I don't know, 2 feet. But yeah. So, well, they might be able to continue to grow, but the reality is that in orc culture, no orc species lives for that long because it just dies. You know what I'm saying?
It's like kind of like it's a dog eat dog world.
It
There's
is.
always someone bigger than you who's gonna cut you down.
Yeah.
Except for Gaskell,
Right. He's gonna cut other people down.
because he's the biggest.
And the best. And the baddest. And the prophet. And next question comes from the Hydra Gamer. Since Tyranids store the DNA of things they eat, would Tyranids gain the power of the orc wall if they ate an orc?
No, I don't think they get that power. They probably get some like spore. I feel, because I feel like that's one of the awesome genetic abilities that orcs have. That when they die, they release spores. So think of how terrifying it'll be that when you kill one Tyranid, like a whole bunch more come up.
Yeah, that would be pretty badass and scary. But I think that Tyranids usually evolve to defend themselves from an aspect of that.
Right.
Yeah. So like, what the Orcs have is that they reproduce really quickly. So I think the Tyranids would evolve to fight the quick reproduction.
Which would make it what?
Like, instead of fighting them with creatures their size, Tyranids would start to evolve into smaller, like spore-like creatures, and they would eat the spores before they even become orcs. If GW wanted to do that. Next
or
question.
create like a miasma that's like makes the atmosphere acidic, so when spores are released, they burn up.
There you go. Yeah. Bam. That's an orc banger for you.
This one's by Alexander Schneider. I've been asking this a few times now, but I don't know if there's a true answer.
You're gonna get an answer today.
If a Kroot was to eat a dead Tyranid, will the Kroot gain the Tyranid strength, or will there be a negative impact on the consumer?
So here's the scoop of your answer. The truth is that it would be negative towards the Kroot kindred, right?
Yeah.
But at first you have to remember that they have to eat multiple of these Tyranids throughout a generation, or multiple generations. But a Tyranid itself is just like
a bug.
Yeah, like a bug, like a creature. When Kroot eat creatures like that, they devolve. So the Kroot kindred would devolve. That's why it's probably illegal for them to do that by the Tau.
Yeah, like there's certain races that they can't eat. So.
Otherwise, they turn into like the Kroothawks and the Kroothound. Yeah. One more question, I believe, and this one is by the Bad Day 78. Are the Eldar blanks? Are there Eldar blanks, and what would those Slanesh think about them if there are?
I think they're all psychically, right?
Yeah, because the whole point of Eldar is that they are extremely psychically powerful to the point where they need their psychic abilities in order to keep living.
Yeah, I've never heard of any Eldar blank.
Yep. And those were the questions for this week. If you guys want us to answer more questions, please comment down below. We're going to have an exclusive for the Greater Wah Patreon edition on Patreon. You can help us out, and we create more videos for you guys if you support us on Patreon. It's a simple $1 a month, and you get 2 videos on YouTube a day, and then you get exclusive stuff on Patreon. So again, guys, thank you for everything.
That's all we got for you guys. Tune in next time for more awesome questions being answered. As always, I'm the Sound Alchemist,
Crush 1,
The Window, and we are signing out.